Hi guys, so today I am in York and I thought I would take you along with me because one of the things about York is there is a lot of history, a lot of it. You don't even have to go that far to be able to see history. Today is a rather wet day, but I thought I would take you along just to see some of the different history. So without further ado, let's go see York. I've just come through York train station, which was built in 1877, and with its build came a boom in jobs for people to be able to work on the railway. I am now walking on the Transpennine Trail, which goes towards Merrygate Car Park. One of the things I find the most interesting about the train station is on the 29th of April 1942 it was bombed out by German bombs in the Second World War. Now that was a 48-hour night where a lot of York got bombed, not to the same extent as London, but we did get hit. There is also the ruins of St Martin's Church, which is clear evidence of the bombing, and other places as well in and around York. But the railway was the main point to be targeted, and needless to say they succeeded. Not completely though, because we were still able to use trains. I am now in York Museum Gardens and it brings you out next to St Mary's Abbey. St Mary's Abbey was originally built in 1088 during the time of the Norman Conquest, and the interesting thing about this abbey is, I'll show you. So you see that wall just there? There was originally a second wall just here as well, but that was actually removed in the 1700s when they decided to build York Prison. This is a Bronze Age rock art, cup and ring marks. Supposedly it's meant to have come from Ilkley Moor, but no one really knows. But this is literally near the Yorkshire sign, so where you can see the museum right there. And I'm going past. So I've just taken this path down here. If you go past the sign towards the back of the museum, there is a path that will take you onto a little bit of the walls, which will then take you into the library's back garden. And the stuff that's in the library's back garden is what I will show you right now. So this here is the multi-angular tower, and the lower half of it is actually Roman, with the top half being medieval. You can actually see this on the other side of the museum gardens. Then if you look down here, that building just there, that is part of St Leonard's Hospital, which is a ruin, and it was part of St Mary's Abbey as well. It was one of the biggest hospitals in York at the time, but during the dissolution of the monasteries, the hospital went as well. And then if you go down this way, just down there, there is a anglo-saxon tower, which nobody fully understands what it was for. Some of the stuff that's here in the back of the library, loads of different history, spanning from Anglo-Saxon up until the Tudor era. I am now walking down the back of the museum towards the art gallery, which was built in 1879 and is actually next to King's Manor, which is part of the University of York now. In Exhibition Square, just like everywhere, there is history absolutely everywhere. So like I said, just behind me now is King's Manor, which is part of the university. You have one of the bars just there. You might be able to see the Minster just next to the white building there. Lots of history. And then over here you have an archway, which is Queen Margaret's Arch, which I did a video on. And it's believed that Queen Margaret, who was married to King James, and she was Henry VIII's sister, she was married off to Scotland, and she apparently went through that gate in order to head up to Scotland. Whether that's true is a different matter. But I also want you to see that. This is York Art Gallery, and the statue there is to William Etty, who is a patron of art, and he is from York. So we actually have a lot of his paintings on display within the art gallery. I'm now coming into the centre of York. Next to me is the Ask Italian, which actually used to be the old Georgian Assembly rooms back when they had a Georgian scene here in York. I am now going towards what is Betty's. Now, Betty's is interesting as well. So Betty's is now obviously a well-known tea room, but it was actually used during the Second World War with many soldiers from around the world being based there during the Second World War. And if you actually go downstairs towards the bathrooms, there is actually a mirror with signatures all over the mirror from airmen and soldiers from Canada and Australia and America. That's York's Mansion House as well. That's where the mayor used to live. And this is obviously Betty's tea room just here. This is York's Merchant Adventurers Hall, and it would have been a guild hall during the medieval era. Clifford's Tower. And this is York Castle, now a museum, but it was originally a prison. And this is the Shambles, all decked out for Christmas. So here on the Shambles we have St Margaret Clitheroe's Shrine, which is here. This is St Margaret's Shrine. This is Grape Lane, and believe it or not, this was York's red light district way back when. But we are going to go under this archway here, which takes us to Barley Hall. That's currently inside Barley Hall. We have a Christmas tree, we have the wall banners, and we have tables full of food and a beautiful Christmas lighting inside Barley Hall. And this you can literally see through the snicket to it. So I am literally outside the building. And this here is the hall itself. So this here is Barley Hall, and Barley Hall is a medieval townhouse. It is believed that this building probably belonged to someone who worked in the church. I'll tell you something for free. Inside Barley Hall there is a window, and the window is actually made out of horn. So the window panes are actually horn rather than glass, and that is actually inside Barley Hall. So if you ever get a chance to go inside Barley Hall, check that out. Check out the horn window. Coming out of the snicket, there is actually another feature that I want to point out to you, which is the Printer's Devil. Just there, you have the Printer's Devil, and if you follow this path up, this will take you back up to the Minster. And if you go a bit further up, there is another snicket that goes to what used to be Tremble Madness, and it takes you to an old Norman ruin that still survives today. So that is the Mason's house again, looking a lot nicer now with all the lights. And that is a better shot of Betty's without all the people everywhere. And this is one of the many churches that are in York. You can't see very well because of the light. And back in the museum gardens you have the other side of St Leonard's Hospital. You can actually go through that tunnel. Doesn't take you far, unfortunately, because if you want to get to the other side, which I showed you earlier when it wasn't dark and as wet, you'd have to come back out this way, come out of the museum gardens, and then go back round past the library. But this is the other side of St Leonard's Hospital that goes under the Theatre Royal. This is part of the walls in York. You can't really walk on them right now due to the poor weather because it's very dangerous and slippy, but this is part of the walls, and they go pretty much around the whole of York with breaks in between. But this is on the side of Blendall Bridge. But yeah, if you walk up there, that would take you all the way to Micklegate Bar, and you could obviously jump off to the train station and whatever, because there is actually a stairway. But yeah, I am now back at my car, as you can see, and I am very wet. It is full on chucking it down outside, and I am soaked through. But I hope you enjoyed this little walk around York. I only shared you just a bit of York's history. I literally just scratched the surface of York's history. The reason why I was in York today was because I went to see my friend perform in a nativity, which was part of the mystery plays. So it was more like a medieval style version of doing the nativity, unlike the more modern one. So no, unfortunately there was no tea towels on heads. But yes, that was the main reason why I went to come into York today. That and to see some friends, because I used to work here in York as well, so I've got lots of friends everywhere, so it's really lovely to go and see them too. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little walk around York, seeing a little bit of York's history. If you ever get a chance to come to York, I would definitely recommend you come and have a look, because it's got so much beautiful history, so much beautiful architecture from various different periods. So I definitely 100% recommend you come to York if you ever get the chance to. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.